Great. So Jane, hi from the Fine Cotton Company. Anyone else want to say hello? Hi, Joe from Textured Lives. Your candle is just there. Justine, hi from Boxwild. Ah, lovely, Justine. Right, I've got big thanks to Justine today because she is let us use her Google Analytics as the demo for today. So we're really appreciative of that. Hi, Sarah. Lovely to see you. Hi, Kate, Jill. Oh, nice to see everyone. Brilliant. Great. We're going to get started here. So let me share my screen and we will kick off. So as we said, we're doing PR reporting today and we're going to get stuck into Google Analytics. And we're joined by Fiona, who's our fantastic marketing and PR assistant, because poor Celine isn't very well today. So we are going to step in and start. So what we're going to be talking about is we're starting off with how companies often measure PR and how it can be just quite a narrow perspective of how well your PR is doing for you. Then we'll look at some of Google Analytics, so referrals, assisted conversions, and lots of other bits and pieces. Then we'll look at a bit about search engine optimization and how to measure that. We'll look at conversion rate optimization and then a couple of other bits and pieces. Just so you know, we've got this checklist here for you to download at the end, so you don't need to be taking lots of notes. We're also recording this, and I also pre-recorded one yesterday, so we're going to send one of them out so you can re-watch later. So there is quite a lot today. It's only half an hour, but it's quite intense. There's lots and lots of analytics chat. So fire over any questions, but do know that you can always watch back and you've got the checklist. So we're going to start off by saying what most companies do, and Fiona's had lots of experience of this being PR herself. So what tends to happen is people get coverage in any means, then they look for immediate sales of that product only at that date or that period that they've had the coverage, and they go, Matt, PR doesn't work, it's not for me, I'm going to do something else. And it's a shame because quite often there's a whole raft of things that happen around PR. So people might come to your website, they might then go away, they might find you on social media, they might pin one of your products, they might see you in another bit of coverage and then come direct to your site and then make a sale. But if you're only looking at coverage immediately, you're missing all of that funnel and that marketing mix and the influence that PR's had on the whole journey that the customer has. So what we want to do is unpick some of that journey today and take it out piece by piece and start looking at measurements in all of those metrics overall to get a fuller picture of how well PR does for you. So the reason, I mean, it's quite obvious, I suppose, but the reason it's always important to measure anything in your business, it's so you spend time correctly on the activities that really add value to your company. So you're not wasting time on things that don't work, but you are spending more time and budget on things that do work for you. So a lot of these principles that we talk about today are working across the entirety of your marketing mix, not just PR as well. But for PRs and PR agencies like yourself as well, Fiona, it really does prove your value. So when you have these conversations with companies that, of course, we do regularly, that, well, we've been in the Times, but I don't know whether it really worked for me. We can actually present them with data and say, actually, you know, look at the fullness of it and it's impacted all sorts of other parts of your business. So we'll talk you through all of that today. So we are just going to start by hopping over to Google Analytics. So we're not going to speak to you today about how to set up Google Analytics, but Fiona, you've got a link, haven't you, that you're going to send in the chat? So if you want to just send that over, that's how to set up Google Analytics. And also don't forget to set up e-commerce conversion tracking as well. It's really important that you do that tracking all the way through to the sale and the value of those sales. So do have a look at that and then watch this back afterwards to have a look at all the metrics that you can get. So we're going on to the first bit, which is really straightforward. So imagine you're in an online publication and they link through to you, straight through to your website on that page, and then you want to see what sales are coming through. This is called referral traffic and referral sales, and we'll just hop over to analytics. I was going to show you a piece of coverage, but I realized I couldn't because of copyright reasons. So let's just... we know that Boxwell's had tons of coverage, so we're just going to show you on analytics how you can analyze that. So this is the menu on Google Analytics that you'll all see. So we've got the acquisition section. We'll use that a lot today, acquisition, then all traffic. And then you're going to, in this instance, go down to referrals. And these are all the websites that link to you and generate sales in some instances as well. So you've got all your social channels will be listed here, any other websites that are linking to you. But we're for the purpose of PR and this webinar, we're looking for those lovely pieces of coverage that are generating traffic and sales. So here we've got The Guardian. They were in The Guardian twice, Country Living, The Independent. And then if you scroll all the way over, because they've got e-commerce tracking, you can see how many transactions came off the back of that. And that led to £500 worth of sales. And that was The Guardian, if I remember rightly. Yep. And then we've got 2 here for £141, 5 in, I think that was The Independent, that was Country Living, that was 192, and then 13, £426 from The Independent. Now, that's all really great, very, very straightforward. But that scenario is literally that someone's read about you, clicked through and made a sale. So that's only a proportion of the actual sales that you've measured from that. And Google presents that back to you. That's the last click that the user made before making the sale. So that's called last click attribution. This is the most complex bit that we're going to talk about today. We'll jump straight in, but then it gets quite easy from here. So that last click that the user took before making a sale is called last click analysis or attribution. And that's Google's natural default. And that's what you will be presented in the majority of the reports that you see on Google Analytics. But the reality is that most often people do a variety of other things. So they might click through from you from, say, The Guardian. Then they'll save your product on a pin, perhaps on Pinterest, or they might then just literally remember it and then come back and Google you. Or they might type your URL direct into the search bar at the top here and then go straight through to Boxwild and then make a sale. Because Google's natural default is last click attribution, they will attribute the sale to the direct to site traffic. So the URL that the user typed in, not the fact that The Guardian generated the traffic through to you as well. And I think this is the big lesson to take away, is that this is a very narrow perspective of PR, is to only look at the last click attribution. The first click attribution or a prior stage attribution is where you're going to see the fullness of the value of any of your marketing activities. So Google actually does have this as a report. You just have to dig down a little bit deeper. So we're going to go back over to analytics and we're going to the conversions section at the bottom here. Then we're going to go to assisted conversions over here. And then again, we are particularly focused on the referral traffic in this instance, but you might want to look at others, because the referral traffic are those websites linking to you, so the coverage. And you can see in this instance, the coverage that they got in House Beautiful actually led to an additional 7 extra sales that weren't attributed to that last click. So they might have come to your website at any stage prior to that last click, and that helped, that assisted that sales. So that's why these assisted conversions are so important when you're measuring the value of your PR. And you can see The Independent here also led to an additional 4 sales and £26 worth of sales to that client as well. So really important one to measure. And again, we've got all this in the checklist. You don't need to remember how to get here. It's really easy to follow it later. So first click, last click attribution, that is as hard as it gets today. We've done the assisted conversion reports already. Please do fire over any questions and Fiona will feed them in if you've got any. So now we're looking at another scenario. So someone's read about you in a print publication. So say they've read about you in Living, etc. Then they've typed your URL into the search bar now, or maybe quite a bit later because they've read it later, or they've remembered, oh, I just want to go and check out that company. And then they make a purchase. So in that same instance, Google will attribute it to the fact that you typed the URL into the search bar. And so that would be attributed to the direct to site traffic, not your press coverage. And so it's really important to measure the direct to site traffic peaks of those that come through PR. And I'll show you how to do that now. So we're going to go back to the acquisition section that we looked at earlier. Then we're going to go down to all traffic and then channels here. And these are all the different channels that are driving traffic through to your website. And in this instance, we're looking at those people who've come direct to your website. So that means they've typed your URL directly into the search bar up here. And what you're looking for are big peaks and little peaks in traffic. And these imply that your brand awareness is going up and or that you've had some really nice PR coming out here. So I'm just going to show you another big one here. We think they were in Saga. So what you can start to do, there's a really lovely little trick, which we've actually only just come across since preparing for this webinar, actually. What you can do is use this annotation function. It's really hidden. So if you see here, this little arrow, you can annotate your reports with all the coverage that you've had out. So you here over on the right-hand side, you just create new annotation and you pop in the date that you've had coverage and what the coverage is, and it will annotate your graphs. So you can have a look across all your reports and go, well, actually my organic traffic went up, my direct to site traffic went up. This was when I was in living, etc. And it's a really important way to measure the power of your PR across all the channels, not just the referral traffic. And so that's a really, really handy one. So if you have a look here, they were actually on radio on LBC. So that one led to a huge number of traffic and masses of sales. Here you've got the little peak around the Guardian. Here there is in the Independent, I think, and that led to a peak over a bit of time. And then this big one, I'm pretty sure it was Saga, but not 100% on that one. I couldn't find it. So that's the direct to site increase. And then the other scenario is that, I've had permission from another client. So Nat Max here, she had a really great illustrative example. She was in the Guardian just pre-Christmas. So that led to a really big increase in direct to site traffic. And then it left a lingering uplift in direct to site traffic for quite a long time afterwards. And that shows you that her brand awareness had increased as a result of the coverage, and it left a nice long feeling in her business. You know, she had lots and lots of sales from that over a longer period of time. So really important to look at those metrics.
I think it's really important to think about with coverage, the longevity of it. So sometimes, you know, you could maybe have a sale perhaps a couple of months after the coverage comes out, which is amazing. And I guess this is kind of like the idea here with Max.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good point. And I think also when it's in a very, very highly ranked piece of online coverage, like say the Guardian or the Indie Best or the Times, their articles are really well optimized for search terms. So that means if you type in Mother's Day gift ideas, they will become at the top of the list. So they can drive referral traffic and sales to you for a long, long time. So yeah, it's really, really powerful stuff. Now, the other scenario is that someone, instead of typing your company name into the search bar here, they've actually searched for your name in Google. So they've typed in, say, Boxwild, and then clicked on a link to come through to you. And these listings here are organic listings. So this will show up as organic traffic and sales in Google. So what you can do is, again, we'll go back to the reports. And instead of looking at the or direct to site traffic, we're looking at organic. So just here you've got you're going to go to acquisition, all traffic, channels again. So we're back here, and in this instance we want to have a look at the organic search. There's a couple of issues with the organic search. In the vast majority of cases it says not provided. So of the 51,000 people that came to Boxwild, 49,000 use search terms which were not provided. So that's because of privacy reasons. Google has to hide them. So, you know, you can't see it. So this report has a little bit of, you know, it's inconsistent. You can't get the fullness of it. However, you can often see your keywords, your own brand name keywords in here. And so what you want to do is see if there's any peaks in your brand name search terms and any sales that have come off the back of it. And also a general increase in your brand searches over time. That really indicates your brand awareness is going up and you're getting more sales because you're better known. You know, the big part of PR is that it's getting your brand out there so people recall you later. And so that's one part of your organic search, but also you're looking for increases over time in your organic search results. So that means you're listing better on Google. And I'm just going to talk to you about that now. So general search engine improvements over a range of terms. So imagine you are Boxwild, or so let's say Boxwild, and they sell wildlife gifts. So they're a really great gift for grandparents. They're great eco gifts, ethical gifts, gifts for grandpas, granddads, that sort of thing. Those are all search terms that they could do really well with optimizing for. And the beauty of PR is that Google loves good quality backlinks. So the fact that they've been in the Guardian and the Independent will help boost their search engine optimization over time. So what you then want to do is check this out and also have a look at your organic traffic increases over time. So I'm going to give you a bit of a demo here. we're going to go into Google. One of our clients that Fiona works on the agency side is called Darlings of Chelsea, and they sell lovely ranges of sofas. And one of their key terms that they've spoken to you about is corner sofas, and they want to appear on page one for that. So we're going to have a look and see how they're performing. So this is the search results. So this is page one of Google, and then they've got all the this is the paid ads here. And then you've got the organic results below. So that's position one. That's the optimum. That's where everyone wants to be. But it's really competitive. So everyone's constantly trying to fight for these positions. So we've got Sofology, Furniture Village, SCS, DFS, we've got Wayfair, IKEA, Dunelm, and then we keep going down. Has it changed already? Gosh, this morning they were on page one. Now they've jumped back to page two. How interesting. Okay, let's see where they are now.
Yeah, because they were 8.
They were 8 this morning when we did a run through. Yeah, and now they're at 11. And actually, they were at 11 the day before. So yes, this morning might have been more of an anomaly. Anyway, so now they're on page 11. Still, pretty good place to go. It's better than being way further down the list, but they're trying to get onto page one. So what we'll do is show you why they've managed to really compete well, even on the top of page two. It's not a bad position to be in. And one of the reasons they're there is because of their backlinks. So you can use this principle for your own research and competitive research as well. So you've got the search term corner sofa at the top here. And I'm just going to add, oops, if I could spell it, Darlings. There we go, Darlings of Chelsea. And then I'm going to head over to the news section here. And that will show you loads and loads of fantastic backlinks that Fiona's been brilliant at securing. So the Times here, the Evening Standard, the Times again, House Beautiful, the Times again, and Ideal Home. So loads and loads of really strong backlinks for Darlings of Chelsea. And this tells Google that they're definitely worth putting higher up the Google search rankings for a variety of search terms. It doesn't have to just be exactly what's written about in that article. It works over time. And then so what you want to do then is check to see how well your organic search traffic is driving for you and sales. So there's a couple of things that you can measure. So you're looking to measure your SERPs, so your search engine results placements. And so that is the position that you're in on Google. And you can do that really easily on an Excel spreadsheet. So you can literally type in, I've used an example for NatMax, who sell beautiful marble prints. So you put in marble prints, the search term, and then you say on the 1st of May, what position were they at? On the 1st of June, you repeat it, and you go on once a month will probably be okay for someone who's a smaller business. And then you do that with a handful of your top key search terms, and you're trying to focus your efforts on improving them. So then you do your press releases around those activities, you'd promote certain imagery around those activities, and do other activities on your site around them. And you're looking to improve that over time. So you can measure it that way. And then you're also going to have all sorts of different, sorry, I'm on the wrong page there. So you can use platforms to measure it for you. And there's a really good one, which we use on and off at Pressloft, called SEMrush or SEMrush. It's a very powerful marketing platform, which tells you which keywords you're optimizing for, which positions you are at over time. And it's a raft of other different solutions. It's worth having a trial, but it is pricey. So if you're a small business, $119 a month is going to be too much for you. If you're a bigger business, then it's absolutely essential that you're doing this. If you're a bigger business, you've probably got an SEO team who are all over this. But I think as a PR team, it's really important to be close to the SERPs and your SEO position and your influence on that as well for that team. So then you want to be having a look back at that organic traffic increase we were talking. And this is a really great example of NatMax, who've increased their organic traffic over time because their SEO is so good, in part because their backlink strategy is working for them. So hopefully this is all making sense. We're nearly there now. It's a very short one, short and sharp. Any questions coming through from anyone yet?
No,
everyone's quietly going, oh. So we talk quite a lot about conversion rate optimization. And that's about making more sales from the traffic that's coming to your website. And there's absolutely tons of things in conversion rate optimization that you can do. So there's button placement? So add to cart, is that easy to find? You know, what color are the buttons? Do you have PayPal integration? And one of the things that can help is conversion rate optimization. And one of our clients, Natalia Wilmot, does this really nicely on her homepage. She shouts about all the coverage she's had without sharing copies of the coverage or the logos. So she's typed out these beautifully, and you can see someone new to Natalia Wilmot will go, gosh, Homes and Gardens have said they're brilliant. Architectural Digest has said they're brilliant. Living North has said they're great. Well, other people are saying they're great, so I'll trust them more. And you know, it removes those fear factors of you know, buying from a new business. Lots of different ways you can do it. We've got a whole webinar on it on our Vimeo channel. We've got a great blog post that you've updated, I think last month, Fiona, as well. So it's well worth having a look at if you want to do more of this. But the important thing is measuring it. So we're just going to show you how to do that now. So you go back over to your analytics, and instead of going up to acquisition, this time we're going to conversions, and then we're going to e-commerce, and then we're going to the overview section. And it's really straightforward. They provide this data for you over here, and it's between 2 and 5% is what you're aiming for, 2 and 5% conversion rate. So Boxwild is low at the moment. You can see here how they've dropped off. There may be a multitude of reasons. They don't use their press coverage. Could be one area to try. They might want to improve some of the imagery on the site, or some of the button placements, the mobile views, but measure it is the big thing. Try something and then measure any impact on your sales. And so what you can do, you can see here that they had really high conversion rate, and then it's dropped. So you're looking for improvements in that over time. So try using your coverage, then go back, check to see if your conversion rate's been optimized.
We have a question from Elizabeth.
Yep.
So she's asking, how do we go about securing backlinks? Is it just about paying for advertising?
No. So which company are you from, Elizabeth? I'm just trying. It's fine. It's not relevant for answering the question, but sorry.
Yeah. Tabitha E.
Okay, Tabitha Eve. Okay, so what you need to do is get non-paid backlinks. So you're looking for organic backlinks, which is what PR does. So you're not paying for it. You can do influencer outreach, that does have a value, but the very best links that you can get are the ones which are organic, from editorial placements, they're called. So they're not paid. There is a movement for Google that they do optimize against influencer posts and paid posts, but the organic unpaid ones are still going to be more highly weighted than the paid ones. So yes, it's about PR. It's about sending your press release out, working with the right journalists. And what's absolutely brilliant now is the majority of the print titles are now doing online versions as well. So they might reproduce the print, or they might have a unique online content team. It's really changing all the time. So have a look at it. But you know, your print PR is certainly going to influence your online and your SEO now as well, because they have these online articles and these websites. And that's why PR has become really popular again. It really started to go out of fashion about 5 years ago, and now we're having a huge boom because of this SEO impact of good quality backlinks.
We have another question from Virginia. She's asking, is analytics the only option, or are there other stats packages to use?
There are loads of stats packages, but Google Analytics is by far the market leader, and it's free. So there's, you know, it's win-win. I think there's other packages. If you're using a platform like Shopify or any of the others, they have their own native analytics packages, which can be very, very successful for you. Analytics is just humongous though. So I would recommend setting up for any e-commerce business. Yeah. Okay.
Amazing.
Right. Nearly there now. So we've talked about conversion rate optimization and getting that a bit higher and how to measure it. Now, just to finish off, we've got another couple of things to measure, and you can question that and have a look at it on analytics. So we've got, if you have a pop-up on your site to get customers to sign up for newsletters, because you're driving more traffic from your PR activities to your website, did the number of customer newsletter people signing up for your customer newsletter increase? And therefore, did you then get a subsequent increase in sales from your customer newsletters? And again, you can monitor that on Google. The other thing you can do is look at how many new social followers you've had. You can measure that over time manually. And then maybe you've had more pins and repins. Pinterest will tell you all about that. And what you're looking for, are you getting more sales or assisted conversions from your social channels over time because your PR is raising your brand awareness? So, another couple of things to measure on the side as well. So it's a very short, sharp one today. We're actually all done. So we'll take questions now. But are there any more questions before we wrap up?
Yeah, there's one from Andre saying, you don't recommend having the clipping pages on the website, just the logos of the publications.
No, neither. Thanks for raising that. No, we had someone even yesterday say they'd been fined by a lawyer representing the Mirror because they used the logo and the coverage on their website. You absolutely must not do it. There are loads of strategies where you can make absolutely loads out of your press coverage without compromising any copyright. We've got lovely templates on Studio now. We've got webinars on it. We've got blogs on it. You mustn't share the actual coverage or the logos themselves.
Amazing. And then, yeah, just Sarah from The Way We Live London. This is also useful, exactly what I've been needing. So that's really nice.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. I know you asked me about this ages ago, so I've just polished it up and made it a little bit more easy because I think people find it quite daunting, but hopefully I know it's been quite a pacey one, but do watch it back. And I think you'll find it really straightforward once you get into it. And it's invaluable across the whole business if you run an e-commerce business like you, Sarah. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap up. So we've covered, I want to just go back over what we've covered today. So we've covered how companies often measure PR, all based on that last click analysis and the direct to site, and that very much that last click that generated the sale, and how narrow that is as analysis of your entire marketing. So we talked about assisted conversions and how you can look at the whole of the funnel that customer's had and how it's impacted the sales. We've looked at direct to site and shown you how to annotate your Google Analytics with the coverage that you've had so you can see it across the whole of your analytics. We've shown you how brand searches can go up and how to measure that, how your organic traffic can go up when people are typing your name into the search bar, and also your general SEO improvements over time and how to measure that with either an Excel spreadsheet or a platform like SEMrush. And then we finally looked at conversion rate optimization and how to measure that when you're doing any changes on site or using your PR whilst not compromising any copyright on your site to see if that impacts your sales. And then there's another couple of bits that you can just check generally whether your newsletters are generating more sales and more signups, and whether your social channels are getting more followers and then resulting sales for your business. So the checklist to cover all of that, what we've spoken about today, is on pages.pressloft.com/measurement, and you can download the PDF that we've put together for you there. I'm just going to zoom in just to explain something here. This section here, it says analytics acquisition. This is the path that you take in the menu along the left-hand side. So just when you get the checklist, that's just to help you direct you where to get to that report there. So it should be quite straightforward. On that landing page, we've also got a webinar next month, haven't we, Fiona, all about Christmas PR. So you're going to be in that one as well.
Yeah, all the exciting Christmas trends coming out.
Yeah, Fiona's been really busy doing lots of trend research. So she'll be talking a lot about all the Christmas trends that she's spied coming up. And the other thing is we're on a live later today. So we'll be discussing what we've spoken about today, as well as some of the work that you've been doing on trends and the latest blog posts that you've been working on as well.
Yeah.
Great. Any more questions before we go?
Sarah's just saying, can you repost the link to watch this back?
Yep.
Yes, it will be reposted.
Yeah. So I just need to edit it and then pop it online. So I did a recording yesterday and obviously one today. So we'll just decide which one to send out. So if it's not this one, you'll understand why. Sometimes it's a bit shorter to chop out all the chats like this for people who are watching back. So we'll send that over to you on an email either today or tomorrow with the links and things.
Yeah. And Joanne's just asking, what time is the Instagram? Has it moved from 5 p.m.?
Yeah, I don't know. When are we going to do it? We can do it at 5.
5.
We've chopped it. Yeah, we'll do it at 5 today. Yeah, but you can always watch it back on our IGTV section on our Instagram. We always post it there if you don't watch us live, but it'd be nice to see you there, Jo. Great. All right. Thanks everyone for your time today. I hope that was useful, and we'll see you on the live maybe later or at the webinar next month. Thanks then. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.